Hello, my name is Christopher Guerra. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a case study, Internet Use Violations, Threats Over the World Wide Web. First I'm going to talk to you about problem identification and analysis. This is what I know. Roosevelt High School is an affluent school. Families will be involved in the educational process. The principal is Dr. Stephen Forbes. He's been the principal of the school for 9 years. He's respected by parents, and he's focused on his reputation and the reputation of the school. He takes pride in only hiring highly qualified staff. This is what I know about Miss Cindy Walker. She teaches science courses in genetics, zoology, and botany. She's a new teacher, and this is her second year. She has an undergraduate and master's degree. She has completed an additional year of postgraduate work. She's not married, and her parents live 3 hours away. She's focused on maintaining a structured classroom. This is what I know about the conflict. Miss Walker's students experience high stress due to her instructional approach and the rigor of her courses. Parents have called the principal frequently to complain about Miss Walker's high expectations. Parents are concerned their children will receive their first bad grade and will be ineligible for school honors such as valedictorian. Students also complain about Miss Walker. I know that the principal has supported Miss Walker in the following ways. Dr. Forbes has discussed teaching techniques with Miss Walker that may reduce student stress. However, Miss Walker has not effectively implemented these ideas, and parents continue to complain. Miss Walker is in her second year as a teacher. She recently received an email that led to a website that had critical comments about her behavior and the rigor of her courses. Some comments contained curse words. The final comment stated, "Who wants Miss Walker to disappear?" This is Miss Walker's reaction. She calls the principal crying. She feels scared for her life and doesn't want to be alone. She asks for the principal to advise her on her next actions. She forwards the email to the principal, and she tells him that she believes a student named Randy Franks is responsible. From her speech, it is clear that these two have had issues before. She is going to spend the night at her parents' house. This is the principal's reaction. The principal is supportive and attempts to calm Miss Walker down. He's an active listener. He reads the emails and views the links. He believes this is a prank. He asks if any students might be upset with her. He also prints copies of the email on the website for documentation purposes. He proposes that Miss Walker and him meet with Randy and his friends to discuss the incident. He also proposes that district technologists find where the email came from. Now I'm going to talk about what I need to know. I need to collect documentation of situations or conflicts within the school, between Miss Walker and Randy Franks, between Miss Walker and any other students, between Miss Walker and family members, complaints filed by families and students, and between Randy Franks and other staff and students. This is what I need to know about Miss Walker. Is she on an improvement plan? What steps has she taken to improve? What steps has the administrator taken to foster improvement? What is her attitude towards improving her teaching? Does she feel supported by her peers and administrators? Will Miss Walker be able to control her emotions? This is what I need to know about my actions. Is it legal to talk with Randy and other students about the situation prior to contacting the families? Is it legal to have the district technologist track the email? Was the one who emailed her a concerned party, or were they participating on the website? This is the problem. The problem is that Miss Walker has not improved her teaching, and students and families continue to complain. The administration has not done enough to support her improvement. Students or community members have bullied Miss Walker by posting defamatory and vulgar comments about her online. It is not clear who participated in the defamation. Families may feel angry and defensive if their children are accused of participating. It may not be legal to have the district track the email. It may not be legal to speak with students prior to notifying their families. Now I'm going to talk to you about my proposed plan of action. These are the steps that I would follow. First, I would collect documentation about conflicts with Miss Walker. Next, I would review these documents with the vice principal. We would select any documents that we think might relate to the incident. The principal and the vice principal would meet with Miss Walker to take a documented statement on the situation and to get her input on who might have participated. The principal and vice principal would make a list of possible suspects. The principal and vice principal would meet with district lawyers to determine the legality of their actions. The principal, vice principal, legal party, and school leadership team would collaborate to create a statement to be shared with parents and students about the situation. The statement would be shared with parents first via a recorded call, email, and text. The statement would be shared with the students the following day. The counselor and technology department would present and have students perform an activity relating to digital bullying and ethics. Participation in this digital ethics program would be ongoing. Based on suspected participants list, we would prepare notification letters for families. The principal, vice principal, lawyer, parents, and students would meet to discuss the situation. When the participants were determined, this information would be kept private and not shared with Miss Walker, families, staff, or students. These students would write an anonymous apology letter to Miss Walker, and they would be required to participate in an online ethics program. Finally, the vice principal and the principal would meet with Miss Walker to discuss and establish a detailed 2-year professional improvement plan to improve her teaching. The consequences of not meeting the improvements outlined in the plan would result in possible termination. Now I'm going to talk about the strategies for implementation. One big strategy I used was collaboration with peers and educational experts. The lawyer assists with the legality of actions. The district technology leaders and counselor collaborate to initiate a digital ethics program. The vice principal and principal work together throughout the process. The school leadership team lawyer and school leaders are involved in preparing a statement for families and students. This is another strategy I used. I acted fairly and ethically. I shared a statement about the situation with students and families. I sent home notifications to families of the suspects who would be interrogated. I did not accuse students. I involved Miss Walker in the process of selecting suspects. And I created a 2-year improvement plan for Miss Walker, and I'm holding her responsible for her improvement. Now I'm going to talk to you about the resolution. When you think of a resolution, you need to think about what is best for the students. A digital ethics program promotes the success of all students. This program would be mandatory, and it would improve student sensitivity regarding online comments. It would improve students' ability to vent and make suggestions without using vulgar or defamatory language. It improves awareness of cyberbullying, and it establishes school expectations regarding digital ethics. The establishment of procedures for teacher improvement plans promotes the success of all students. Miss Walker will improve her teaching, and students will feel less stressed. Fewer parents and students will complain. This also fosters hiring of high-quality teachers and maintains community expectations. Teachers that do not meet the improvement outlined in the 2-year plan will likely face termination. When the students are treated fairly, the success of all students is promoted. No students were accused of anything. Students and families were provided with notification and due process. And the consequences of writing an anonymous apology and taking an online ethics program were logical and non-extreme. Now I'm going to talk to you about the data that supports the resolution. First, I'm going to talk about Miss Walker's improvement plan. In the case study, it said the rigor of the subjects she is assigned to teach, combined with her serious approach to instructional delivery, establishes a classroom in which students experience high levels of stress. It also says Dr. Forbes has received numerous calls about Miss Walker's stringent expectations from parents. Furthermore, Dr. Forbes has discussed techniques with Miss Walker and what she can use to reduce student stress and increase positive interactions with students. She hasn't successfully implemented his suggestions. Parents and students continue to complain about the class workload and poor instruction. It is clear that students feel stressed and parents are upset with Miss Walker's teaching. It is my interpretation that Miss Walker cares very much about teaching and wants to improve herself. That is why it is important to give her the support and a chance to do so. In the case study, it says she has completed her undergraduate degree, master's degree, and another year of postgraduate work before applying for a teaching position. It also says she has a serious approach to instructional delivery. These things tell me that she thinks that improving her teaching is very important. Now I'm going to talk to you about the digital ethics program. Miss Walker checked her email messages and found an unidentified one that urged her to view a specific website for a personal message. Depending on the circumstance, this would either be an ethically or non-ethical action. If it was a concerned party, this would be an ethical action. If it was an involved party, it would be an unethical action, as they would bait her to visiting the site. In the case study, it said on the website, she was horrified to find highly suggestive comments about her personal behaviors and critical comments about the rigor of her classes using vulgar curse words. The term comments leads me to believe that multiple parties were involved. This supports my assumption that digital bullying may be a bigger problem in the school. The use of vulgar language and critical comments do not align with the district and school standards for student behavior. Now I'm going to talk to you about my reflection. I'm going to talk about how I was thinking, feeling, and valuing. This is how I was thinking. This is an affluent school, and parents may be overly involved or sensitive. Miss Walker had not done enough to improve. The district had not done enough to support Miss Walker's growth. I was thinking that cyberbullying may be a bigger issue at the school. This is what I was feeling about Miss Walker. I was feeling that she didn't have much support. She's unmarried, her parents live 3 hours away, and the students and families complain about her. I was feeling upset that the students would use defamatory and vulgar language to describe a teacher. Teachers sacrifice a lot in order to help others. The students did not express themselves in a respectful way. This is what I was valuing. I was valuing respect. Students, families, and educational staff should all show respect to one another even when a conflict arises. It's not appropriate to accuse people haphazardly. I was also valuing responsibility. Students should be held accountable for their actions. Students should also learn how to communicate online in an ethical and responsible way. Miss Walker's 2-year improvement plan holds her responsible for her growth, and the district is also supporting her in this way. Now I'm going to talk about unresolved issues that are open to further investigation. One issue is Miss Walker's completion of the improvements as outlined in the 2-year improvement plan. Her progress towards goals needs to be discussed with building administrators on a regular basis. What evidence will she need to provide to support her improvements? Observations, pictures, notes, videos, perhaps a portfolio. These things would need to be established. Another issue is further consequences for repeat offenders. What consequences should repeat offenders have? Possibly suspension, moving rooms, community service, or perhaps it should be written on their permanent record. Another thing is effectiveness of the digital ethics program. Are students responding to the program? How can we revise and improve the program? Now I'm going to talk to you about reflecting on Standard 5, promoting the success of every student by acting with integrity, fairness, and acting ethically. First, I'm going to talk about integrity and ethical behavior. As a future educational leader, I understand the importance of integrity and ethical behavior. I demonstrated a sense of integrity and ethical behavior when I released an official statement to students and families regarding the incident. In this way, I was honest and transparent. It might have been easier to keep the incident quiet, but the right thing to do was inform the staff, students, and families about the incident. I modeled that sometimes we need to have uncomfortable discussions to safeguard our integrity and ethics. I demonstrated a sense of integrity and ethical behavior when I kept the participating members of this incident private. I do understand that staff, parents, and students would want to know who was involved. However, people make mistakes, and I wouldn't want this situation to define these students. This will model to the community that blaming others and ostracizing others is hurtful and unnecessary. I demonstrated a sense of integrity and ethical behavior when I withheld my initial reactions of blaming Miss Walker, Randy, or other parties for the incident. When things go awry, it is easy to find a scapegoat, but it is more important that you preserve your integrity and ethics by getting the facts first. I modeled that we should gather the facts before making assumptions. Now I'm going to talk to you about treating people fairly with dignity and respect. As a future educational leader, I understand the importance of fairness. I acted with fairness when I promoted social justice by establishing the digital ethics program. Students are required to participate in this program. The program promotes social justice by teaching students to state their opinions without putting others down or using vulgar language. I acted with fairness when I notified parents and students prior to interviewing them about the incident. Parents must be notified prior to, and students should receive due process. By providing these, I upheld the values of democracy and fairness. I acted with fairness when I gathered the facts and interviewed all the parties involved to determine the fault. I did not take the side of the students or the teacher automatically, but rather I attempted to understand their side and treat them with respect. In these ways, I upheld democracy and promoted justice. And I'm going to finish up with talking about the demonstration of personal and professional code of ethics. As a future educational leader, I understand the importance of a professional code of ethics. I demonstrated a personal and professional code of ethics when I provided Ms. Walker with the opportunity for professional growth via the 2-year professional development plan. It may have been easier to move her to a different school or terminate her contract, but my professional code of ethics helps me understand that it takes time and support for new teachers to develop their skills. This will inspire others to approach me if they need professional support. I demonstrated a personal and professional code of ethics when I didn't blame Ms. Walker for the parents and students complaining. I understand that the specialized science courses she teaches are rigorous, as they should be. Educators should not reduce the rigor of schoolwork because parents are worried that their children will get their first bad grade. When things get hard, students need to exhibit grit in order to overcome their obstacles. By maintaining the rigor of these courses, I am inspiring students to perform at a higher level. Lastly, I demonstrated a personal and professional code of ethics when I initiated the digital ethics program. This program will help students learn how to voice their opinions without putting others down or using vulgar language. In this way, we are inspiring them to higher levels of performance regarding communication and social responsibility. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.